This is the council meeting. This is the council meeting. Uh,
I know nothing about it.
it's not on our agenda, but I mean, and it could just pop up too. So, um,
I don't know.
you know who called you? Who called you? Who called you? Okay. Then you're in the right place then. Yep, we're here.
Hey, how are you? How you doing? Wow, how's everything? You look good for 93. I hope I look good that when I'm 83. 94. Oh my gosh. Well, I know you're a little older. My dad will be 96 in August. Oh my God. Doing really good. Good as you guys. How are you? Yeah, how you doing? I know how you're doing.
Hi, Dave.
Thank
How
you,
are you?
Rita. All right, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Thank you, Reed.
Welcome.
We was like
Yeah,
that. I was on the other end with them already.
okay.
I appreciate it though.
No problem.
Hey, what's up?
You're all right. You're young. Young at heart.
Yeah, hell up to my joints.
Don't say that out loud. Might take it the wrong way.
Okay, yeah, that's why I put it on
You
there.
know that was my class.
No problem.
Frank,
Nope.
Lance is supposed to be here tonight.
Yeah. So what's he crying about?
He's told to get his 2 trucks off,
For what side?
trailers off the street.
Yeah.
He wants to park them on the lot. I said, no.
No.
No,
The
you can't.
county turned him down too.
I know. I know.
Oh, fine. Yeah.
Man, you got fun.
He went from being the friend of the neighborhood to being the
They
villain.
are complaining.
Oh,
about it.
gosh. I was up there Sunday walking that street. Forget it.
Yeah, man, they say he went off on them.
They went from being a friend to being a villain.
Yeah. This is the bonus. Hit him at the
What's time?
gas station. He didn't speak to me. I ain't losing sleep.
No, I don't think so.
I just,
Oh, that's all right. You gave me the wrong one. Now I see it.
stop screwing around.
Wow. That has to get through the glass. Yeah, but and still hold on.
Wait, Joe's kitchen was crowded.
Where's mine, Joel?
Oh, yours?
I had my 4 basketball buddies there. That was neat to see them.
Wait till you come in the office.
If you really need it, give me this one.
No.
It's gonna run out of it.
We're gonna have some trip and falls going on.
We want the other one. We want your other pen.
Casa,
We want the Kohinoor. Call this meeting to order. Please rise for the invocation and the pledge of the flag. Heavenly Father, as we meet here this evening Let us be mindful of the fact that our residents are still recovering from COVID. Our flu season is here, and make sure that they get all the help that they need from our healthcare areas. We also want to thank you for your guidance for the Easton Area High School girls basketball team, which went undefeated again for the second season in the regular season. Wish them luck in their future, especially as Friday night they start their playoffs against Stroudsburg. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There we go, about 20.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Brown?
Here.
Mr. Ettinger?
Here.
Mr. Milan?
Here.
Mr. O'Connell?
Here.
Dr. Ruggles?
Here.
Mrs. Sultana?
Here.
And Mayor Panto.
Here. Can I have approval of the agenda, please?
Was approved. Second.
Move to approve. I would like to just amend, I have an award for Mrs. DeBona. Instead of waiting for my report, I would like to do it right during the first business of public comment. I'd like to add that on there. Anyone object? Okay, we'll just do it as a friendly amendment. Madam Clerk, roll
Mr.
call.
Ettinger?
Aye.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
And Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Action on our minutes of January 25th.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and second. Any additions or deletions or corrections? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
And Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
At this time, we have public comment. First, I'd like to, many of us were at the Southside Civic Association last night. We talked about how do we get small businesses to open up on the south side. So many are closing. And the one that we talked about the most that started the discussion was a rather large company, Fulton Bank. But we have a lot of small businesses that have closed since I grew up on that south side. And we have the same problem on the westward where we have a lot of the corner grocery stores are gone and everything. But we have with us tonight a young lady who's only been a small business owner for 66 years in the West Ward. And I'd like to present Margaret DeBona with this award. She is also the aunt of former council member Sandra Volcano. And I just happens to go to the same church that I go to, so I see her once in a while at the church. And just want to say thank you for being such a loyal member of the Westward neighborhood. You're still a member there. You're still there, but you're not open anymore. You're not open. You're not doing any more hair because I could use it on the top. It's a little thin. December. Well,
Wow.
God bless you. Come on up.
Go down and read. Come on, here.
God bless you. You take care. And your husbands take good care of you. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Very good guy. He comes home though. Is there anyone else who'd like to offer public comment? Margaret had her business. Why don't you tell us a little bit where it was on Ferry Street?
I do. I was in Al. No, Al was in my wedding.
What the address of your business? 1242, right up the street, and from our parks. So we're very fortunate. You did well. Good luck to you and good health.
Yeah.
For 94, you don't need it that much. I mean, you're doing really well. You're getting around. Your husband still drives. I mean,
You got your hair? I don't.
oh, this is the box. Oh. God bless you.
You take care.
All right,
Mother.
Mrs. DeBona, you take care. Anyone else who'd like to have public comment? There is a time at the end of the meeting for public comment on non-agenda items, any dealing with comments, concerns, or questions about the city of Easton. Move on to the consent agenda, Madam Clerk.
We have bill number 8 that was introduced by Mr. Brown, which would amend the 2022 Health Benefits Fund budget. We have a resolution would be introduced by Mr. O'Connell, which would authorize the administration to apply for a COVID-19 ARPA H2O PA water supply, sanitary, sewer, and stormwater projects grant in the amount of $753,300. We have a resolution also authorizing the Department of Community and Economic Development to apply for a PennDOT Green Light Go grant program in the amount of $405,572. We have a resolution also approving the outdoor dining guidelines for 2023. We have a resolution that would approve a cooperation agreement between the city and Lafayette College for a $710,000 TASA grant, which is a Transportation Alternative Set-Aside Program grant. And it has to do for safety improvements along the Cattell Street corridor. We have a resolution that would approve appointments and reappointments to the various authorities, boards, and commissions.
Move the consent agenda.
Moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
I had a question, Mayor.
Oh, go ahead.
I apologize. For the agenda item for bill number 8, how did the budget go up by $56,000 for health claims allowance when we approved the number of 3.76 actually? We didn't transfer anything this year, did we?
For 22?
Yeah.
We may have requested a prior budget amendment.
But wouldn't the budget that we approved back in November reflect that amendment? It wouldn't have changed.
Well, the budget,
We approved in November.
yeah, we, I'm
Right,
sorry,
but
the
it still
November,
continues on though. It would continue on.
no, the budgets don't continue on. They basically are good for that particular year. So this is going back to the 22 budget, the 23 budget that was approved, unless I'm misunderstanding.
Well, no. So the 2022 budget for this line item was 3.76 million.
Okay.
Somehow this budget is showing $3.8 million. So I'm not sure if we can just arbitrarily increase it without a proper budget amendment.
I can double check that and
Yep.
and let council know. Give me a moment.
While Mr. Lisanicki is looking at that, I'm just curious. I'm looking at this, and it says 2022.
Yeah.
That's so this is an amendment that would reflect, I assume, how the year ended up.
Yes.
So it's basically reconciling.
Correct.
Okay.
But the numbers don't equal though.
Oh,
The current budget on this bill and the current budget we have from that year are not the same.
Mr. Campos just reminded me, we may have transferred internally monies between the allowance and the claims, or I'm sorry, the insurance and the claims line item to account for additional claims allowances or expenses there. So we had money budgeted in the other line item, if you
And we
will.
switched them over.
And then we moved it in between the two, but I'm quite sure that that's what we did, but I'll finalize that.
Give Mr. Milani an explanation. Some of you know.
Any other questions on the consent agenda? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana?
Aye.
And Mayor Panto?
Aye. Okay, reports received by council with the fire department, January 2023. Incident report, I'll accept it on behalf of city council. We'll move right into committees. Finance Committee, Vice Mayor Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. I have one item for this evening, and that is going to be bill number 9. No, I'm sorry, that's resolution. I don't think I have anything.
You don't have any.
No?
I don't have anything.
Nope.
Nope.
You had under.
I had
consent
eight.
agenda.
I had
You
eight.
had eight under consent agenda. All right. Okay, Economic Development Committee, Councilmember O'Connell.
I don't have a report, Mayor.
Okay, Planning and Codes Committee, Councilmember Sultana.
Yes, Mayor, Planning Committee is in the middle of discussing the two ordinances that I will be proposing hopefully in the next council meeting. One is banning the sale of puppy mill puppies in pet stores, and the other bans the decline of cats. So drafted ordinances are shared within the City Hall, and we will have further discussion if there's any question or concerns before it comes to the public,
Very good.
Do you want that at the next meeting, did you say?
hopefully.
Public Safety Committee, Councilmember Ruggles.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to let everybody know that we will have a public safety, committee meeting, the next committee meeting night, that Tuesday before our next, council meeting. The fire department's gonna come in and, present, facilities. What the shape of their facilities are, just kind of give council an idea of, what facilities they have and what condition they're in.
Will this include all three stations or just,
I think they're gonna focus on primarily Main and South Side.
okay.
Didn't you guys do a safety report a couple years ago? Like
On College Hill.
a college show report? Like what? Didn't the administration do something like that a while ago?
So, the safety committee did a walkthrough, if that's what you're referring to, but that was looking at basic codes issues. This is a little bit more comprehensive in looking at the needs of a modern day fire department, and what they need to operate efficiently in the city. So one of those, for example, is understanding what needs would be as we diversify, and for example, of our first female firefighter, and if not more, in the department. So those are the kinds of things that we're looking at, including the potential for training, and also if ever in the future, what the fire department's role would be with, let's just say, ambulance services, et cetera. I think so. To answer your question, Mr. Milan, they're coming in here and talking about what the needs are to move the department forward, and looking at the physical structures, the physical facilities.
Did you say an ambulance service?
Yes.
One of the, I'm sorry, you done?
Nope. I'll wait till the presentation.
Okay. One of the emphasis of, one of the reasons for this is there is a bill in Congress currently on funding construction of new fire stations, and it's in committee. Don't know if it'll ever come out of committee, but if it does, I would like for us to be in a position where we can say, hey, this is what we already have determined we need. So this is kind of moving us in that direction.
Maybe for the meeting we can have that code report done for the fire stations.
It wasn't a code report that was done. It was part of the safety committee.
Was there a document created?
There was a document created that was part of the safety committee.
Can we have that for the committee meeting then, please?
I'll look into it.
Public Works Committee, Mr. Ettinger. Councilman.
I have no report.
Administration Committee, Councilmember Milan.
I have no report, Mayor. However, I was hoping Mr. Wheeler was going to be here this evening, and he did not show up.
Well,
Kind of
he's
discuss.
operating under a memorandum of agreement that you talked about last week or 2 weeks ago. Is no longer in effect. Our impression was that it ended in November. His
Right.
impression is it ended in December. Either way, it's gone. He's been told that he has 72 hours to vacate the property.
To vacate
The
the
trailers.
vehicles, the trailers, correct.
Gotcha.
The trailers on the street, we've gotten nothing but complaints. First of all, they're not allowed to be on the street. They're unattached trailers. Neither of them are fully equipped. They're motorized, and so what I had thought was a very good idea for him to make mums and pumpkins available to the West Ward at a reduced rate, and then ultimately he decided to put Christmas trees there. And then he advertised a chicken wing event on Super Bowl Sunday, this Sunday, without notifying the city. And our concern there was, we don't have a certificate of insurance. Somebody chokes on a chicken bone, the city's going to get sued, and we needed a certificate of insurance. He has filled out the paperwork over the last 2 days. He still does not have the proper insurance, but we're convinced by tomorrow or Friday he will. But if he doesn't, then he's not going to have it. Our first concern was they was going to make the chicken wings in the trailer, the food trailer that's there. But that's not the case. Big Papa's will be making it. Report solicitor.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Just one quick. Did you review the MOA?
No, I've never seen the MOA.
I sent it to Jeremy.
Jeremy has it.
Okay.
I saw it today.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
It's not a new one.
Yeah, no, I mean it's never been shared with me. But the one thing is, if he's serving food, he's going to need the Board of Health to approve it too.
But he's getting it from a commissary, a licensed commissary.
Okay,
Big Papa's has been.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it
Yeah,
works.
they have a license. They have a health license.
So, is it the intent to give him a lease or an MOA, or we're not all going to offer it to him now?
That's up
Moving
to
forward.
I am not recommending one from the administration. We're not recommending one. The place is a mess. We thought it was a good idea as a community development project to do the West Ward, have them do that, and it was a great idea. He went from being their friend to their villain of the people in the neighborhood, and we'd like to help him get set up someplace else, but it is public property. It's a public park, and we have plans. Hopefully, by the end of the year, we'll be building a community center there, or somewhere in that location.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
go ahead, Mr. Shear.
I believe the intention is when we adjourn tonight, we will convene an executive session for a brief update as to our negotiations involving lease of real property, and no reason to keep it a secret dealing with the New England Hydro lease. I just want to update everybody as
our
to a
meeting.
meeting that we had, as well as our thoughts, because that's why we're doing this exec session. It all has to do with our negotiations.
Thank you, Mr. Shear. That's a great, and we will have an executive session. We won't be more than 5 or 7
Yeah,
minutes.
it could be very quick.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, and that's going to be to discuss New England Hydro?
It's to discuss a lease of property, which happens to be
Okay,
the proposed negotiations with New England Hydro,
thank you.
or the ongoing negotiations, I should say.
Again, the administration is supporting the green energy project. However, we feel very strongly that the lease that was presented to Mr. Shear will expose the city to tremendous liability in the future and costs to the residents, and that we're not in favor of. Since we have we have $100 a year that we're getting.
Right, but we're working on trying to get better definition, and we'll see what materializes.
Good point. Report of the mayor. I just want to mention that we mentioned about Southside Civic Association's meeting last night about small businesses. We had great ideas that were brought forward. We also had some complaints about parking and traffic control. So we already started. I did go by the van that's parked on Davis Street sidewalk. I sent that to the chief today. And also about parking 30 feet within the corner. Gave Mrs. DeBone her award. I have some good news that we'd like to expose. The PennDOT has agreed, I've just signed the agreements tonight, to give us a dedicated pedestrian stage at the circle so that people will be able to cross the street without cars moving. That was a big win for the city, and we thank PennDOT for their cooperation in that. And also Bob Freeman and Senator Buscola were very intricate in that integral in that entire process. So it will take 2 to 3 weeks before it's enacted, but it is in process. Other than that, report of city administrator.
Mayor, just a few items actually. Number one, so council is aware, the city right now is in the process, the Human Resource Bureau is in the process of publicizing for the next civil service test for the fire department. There is a link, a commercial, if you will, that was put on the Facebook site. So I'd appreciate it if council members with Facebook, if you like it, or share it with your contacts as well. It's one of one of the items that former Fire Chief Krill brought to my attention was that it's not always clear how much a firefighter makes, especially year one. He says it's somewhat a deterrent, the academy pay, and then not really the public not really understanding what the total full compensation could be after year one, including with benefits. So we highlighted those in the video. So take a look at that. The other thing is going back to my point earlier about the needs of the department and the facilities themselves. We are working with the other cities right now. We've asked the mayor to call the other mayors to get their support, and it looks like we have it, to create a video that supports diversity. So at least when you're looking at the video, it will show a female firefighter, for example, and it'll show firefighters of color, et cetera, in whatever different diverse backgrounds. Traditionally, the fire department has been fairly homogenous, so and lack diversity per se. So we do want to make sure that we show people of different backgrounds, so the younger generation gets an idea that they can do it too if they see something on TV or on the video that looks like them. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. The two other items.
It's the topic of our three mayors meeting tomorrow,
Excellent.
so we have it on the agenda.
I got a call from the press today. They wanted
I know
they
they're
wanted to
trying
know
to
what the agenda was. I recommended they talk to you.
Regional support, thanks. I appreciate that.
It was Tom Shortell.
I know.
So I'll give him a shout out if he's listening. The two quick other items. Dr. Ruggles, you had asked a question about the last budget amendment of the 500,000 and the way the budget amendment was presented. I took a look at that with first the finance and regrouped with our actuaries as well as our controller, and then also finally our outside labor council looks at pensions. I had to, because it opened up somewhat of a Pandora's box. So we had to go that deep. We will be submitting a new budget resolution that specifically just reduces the $500,000 or so out of the resident EIT portion, and leaving the non-resident EIT portion the same. So we will be submitting a new budget amendment at the next meeting. And then lastly, Councilwoman Sultana, I did send some comments made internally regarding your two ordinances. So I just sent them to you, and those were the only comments that came in. You and I can talk about them more.
Perfect.
Okay, and I'm sure you're going to bring those up. One of them I thought was from the chief, was from experience. So
Right.
I hope you take those into consideration.
Is that,
Thank you.
is that what you laid on our desk, or a copy of the fire marshal?
No,
Oh, okay.
that's all I have, Mayor.
I would just like to add to my report, I forgot to mention that next year is a big year for construction again in the city. Cattell Street, we voted on the consent agenda. The matching grant is being matched by Lafayette College. It'll make Cattell Street at least more pedestrian friendly. We also have a contract with Wood Avenue out in the Westward. Hopefully that'll get done. We have a grant submitted for St. John Street from St. John to Philadelphia Road to I-78 as an entryway into the city. But the bad news is also under court order, the tremendous and very tragic explosion that occurred about probably 15 years ago out at Allentown with the gas main that blew up. UGI was put under court order that all of their cast iron mainline pipes had to be replaced. Now, they did Southside last year, because my block was torn up. But next year, they're in the West Ward. And all of Washington, Ferry, Butler are all going to be ripped up from 7th to 15th. And Bushkill Drive from the toll bridge all the way out to 13th Street. So it's going to be we've been assured, we met with them, we've been assured that they will patch up everything every night, but we talked about emergency vehicle access as well as normal traffic. So
Did he tell you how long?
Wood Avenue is not on that. No. Wood Avenue is not on that.
How long long?
All summer. It starts in March and it'll go all the way till November. I think he said November.
Mayor, in that Wood Avenue, will that traffic change happen too? Will we come through the alleyway, making that one way going east?
That has not been decided, and in the grant proposal, that is still up in the air whether we make it one way or not. Two ways rather, keep it one way. I personally, I think we'll get input from the fire department again. I think the fire department made a good point in my mind that having it one way going west right now is much better than having two-way traffic. And I understand that the Public Works Department doesn't want to send vehicular traffic down that little alley to get to 7th Street. However, if they can convince the fire department that they can make it two ways without curtailing or at least slowing down emergency response to that Easton Heights area, I'd like them to come and address that to City Council before we actually sign the contract. Okay, there's no correspondence, there's no unfinished business. I'll move right into new business, Madam Clerk.
Okay, we have bill number 9 that's being introduced by Mr. Milan, which would amend chapter 54, ethics of the Code of the City of Easton.
So introduced.
I have a resolution being introduced by Mrs. Sultana, which recognizes the Black History Week, which turned into the Black History Month for the month of February.
So introduce.
Second.
Is there a second? There's a second, Mr. Ettinger. Discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead, Dave.
I was just wondering, I thought we already had a resolution covering this, that we already recognized February.
We do. We recognize it every year, but I think that's just for this year, and I don't
Yes,
think
we have
I don't think we've done it
Oh,
yet.
just for this year?
Just for this year,
All
yes.
right. Okay.
And there was some question by former council members before I even became mayor about whether or not we even need to do that since it's a federal designation. But I think it's good for us to do it as well, and I thank Mrs. Sultana for bringing that up.
Yeah, sure. Thank
Mr. Brown?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk prior to this going on as the training, after training. I know that we did. I have attended 3 of them so far, and I'm just not understanding the penalty. If that's something that we put in there, if a council member didn't make it, and they would be charged $100 and have to find a place to take the ethic training.
We discussed in the resolution or my bill?
Bill number 9. Bill number
Just
9.
introduce it though.
Yeah, no, I know that we did, but I wanted to put that out there.
Oh, well, I mean, we can have a committee meeting about it. I was supposed to have one last night.
Well, all I know is I don't do weddings anymore. As a result of our last training, when the gentleman looked at me and said,
Can't do
Mayor,
it.
you know you can't charge. I said, I don't charge. I get a donation to Safe Harbor or the Peace Candle Committee. He said, well, you can't ask that either. That's a quid pro quo. I said, well, then I won't do them. So I only do it for very, very close friends. Because I think it's ridiculous that the borough mayors can charge it, but the city mayors can't. And I don't want it. I just want it to go to a charity. And
Was that an ethics ruling?
yes, it was.
Yes.
Wow.
Alpha Building.
Yep.
Yes, I do remember that. Okay,
I would like to read the resolution before.
sure. I know you want to read it into the record.
Yes. As we celebrate the Black History Month, I would like to read the commemoration or the resolution for the record. Whereas, to commemorate and observe the contribution to our nation made by people of African descent, American historian Carter G. Woodson established Black History Week, then called Negro History Week, nearly a century ago. And whereas the event was first celebrated during the second week of February 1926, selected because it coincides with the birthday of both Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. And whereas that week would continue to be set aside for the event until 1976, when, as part of the nation's bicentennial, it was extended to a month. And whereas February 2023 Black History Month is about representation, identity, and diversity. And whereas throughout the arc of history to the present day, Black and African American have encountered and endured the inhumanity of inequities and inequalities, not just from societal and institutional biases and racism rooted in white supremacy, but also from other Americans. And whereas it is a moral value that each of us learn about, shed lights upon, and denounce the inhumanity of injustices and inequalities that Black and African American continue to experience and endure, but moreover, that each of us takes action to realize true reform. And whereas the contribution of African Americans from all walks of life and their endeavor to learn and succeed throughout history and make memorable marks in our nation as artists, scientists, educators, influentials, members of the faith community, and political and governmental leaders reflect the greatness of the United States. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Easton City Council recognize February 2023 as Black History Month in the city of Easton, and be it further resolved, the city encourages the celebration of this month and inviting all residents in the city to learn more about African American family history to better understand the experience of African Americans and how they have shaped our nation. Thank you.
Very good.
Nicely written.
Just need a vote.
Vote. Go ahead, call the question.
Anybody else? Mr. Brown?
Aye. Aye.
Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana?
Aye.
And Mayor Panto?
Aye. I'm also proud to announce that we have been chosen, Easton has been chosen, we will host the first Lehigh Valley-wide Juneteenth parade in the city this year. So we're looking forward to that, and we're working with Dr. Britt already on the route.
And is it the same organization that they hosted
Yeah.
last year?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
same Lehigh Valley one.
Perfect.
Everything last year was in Bethlehem. There was nothing in Allentown or Easton.
I think
This
it's
year-
also-
It was small.
Yeah, small.
There was
yeah,
small,
yeah.
yeah. there
Mayor,
was.
I'm sorry,
believe it's
the
also
first
commendable.
Juneteenth parade?
Yeah, Juneteenth parade.
Okay.
I believe it's also commendable that we put up the banners honoring African Americans.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we're going to open up that probably within the next 30 days for anyone else who wants to add to it. We did promise NAACP that we would do that, and we're probably going to do that within the next 30 days. So if a family wants to purchase or at least make a contribution towards them, last year the Moose added, I think, $2,000 to it that they were to make them whole. So we'll look forward to do that again as well. At this point in the meeting, we come to public comment on any matter concerning the city of Easton. Anybody like to come up? Dr. Green?
Ken Green, 44 Center Square. It's really a question about what was discussed earlier on the grants for Cattell, Wood, and St. John. Mayor Panto, you mentioned for Cattell, it's around pedestrian improvements. Is that similar on the other two streets, or are there different things that the grants are for?
Wood Avenue is not pedestrian at all. There will be some pedestrian, there will be handicap accessibility ramps put on, which are not existing now. But actually up on Cattell Street, we're actually doing bump outs, so it'll be a shorter distance for people to cross at the intersections. St. John Street is a grant application that will actually improve the entire corridor from 78 to downtown. But we don't know exactly, if we're going to get that grant or not. But it's on our radar.
Can you say a little bit more about improving the corridor? What examples of what that might look
Well,
like?
one of the things we tried to do is when CVS was going in, we had the developer agreeing to put the median all the way out Philadelphia Road. So we have trees out there, and we have separation of the north and south traffic. PennDOT would not approve it. So we're hoping to go back and ask again and get a grant from them to do that. But 13 years ago when we did that project, they said no. If we could dress it up, improve the quality of coming in, slow down the traffic. It's a speedway on Philadelphia Road, especially. So is St. John Street, but more so on Philadelphia Road. It's a 4-lane highway. It's 2 lanes.
Indeed it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to address City Council?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Mr.
That's okay. Dr.
O'Connell.
O'Connell,
Dr. O'Connell.
David's a doctor.
Last night at the meeting, I noticed a lot of people did not seem to realize that some of the streets are actually controlled by PennDOT and not by the city. And I run into that too up on College Hill. Why isn't there more lights on Cattell Street? I'm just wondering, do we have a list of streets in the city that are actually controlled by PennDOT?
Yeah. Yeah, we have, I mean, basically on College Hill, it's Lafayette Street, it's Cattell, Knox Avenue.
Okay.
On Westward, it's Northampton, Butler,
Wood.
and Wood. South side, it's primarily St. John, Berwick, and Philadelphia Road.
Can something like that just be put on our website, maybe, so people could?
It's a good idea.
Get a
That's a good
picture?
idea.
Oh, speaking about the website, Mayor, who updates our website?
IT department.
When we cancel meetings, can we send them? Can we copy them on the email so they can update the website?
Sure.
Somebody came down last night and doors were locked.
Oh, okay. That's a good suggestion. Thank you.
Sorry, Dustin.
You're too cool, Justin.
I mean, I can do it if you want. I have no problem doing it.
What we talked about updating the site, and I believe that each director should be in charge of their own department because there's a number of things that are not up to date. That one is notifying the public, but there's some things that are outdated on the website as well, and our people just don't go on it. Anyone else?
Mayor, may I just mention, just as a matter of the logistics, because we talked this morning at our solicitor's session about the parking meter ordinance. When it is reintroduced, it's on the table. When it's taken off the table, let me just alert everyone, there will be an added provision because we realized, or thanks to our city clerk, brought to our attention that we address parking meter hours for everything but the courthouse area. So that's not changing. So there's going to be an added paragraph plugged in just to indicate that the courthouse area hours will remain 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. So I just wanted to alert everyone. I don't consider that a substantive change. I'm really not quite sure, frankly. I've sort of lost track as to whether this has to be, whether it's ever been introduced in order to, so that when it's taken off the table, it can be voted on as an ordinance. I just don't recall where it was left.
It had to be
It was introduced.
It was introduced, okay, so
You
when
would
it
rule
gets taken off the
that it
table,
was a sizable change, so it had to be reintroduced.
a substantive change, yeah, I had said, you change an hour, because we're not changing anything there, but we're just making it more inclusive, because we basically left that out, we're not changing it all. I don't consider it a substantive change, but I wanted to alert you now, so that when you see it, and you see that extra paragraph added, you're aware of it, and if there's any reason why you have a problem keeping it from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., give it some thought ahead of time, so it doesn't become a cause to delay it any
Wait,
further.
I thought we said 5 p.m.
Yes, did I say 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.? What I
thought
just
you
say?
said 7 p.m.
No, if I did,
No, I misheard.
The change will be in your packet for the next time, so just so you're aware of what it is, but even before that can be voted on, it has to be brought back to the table and then voted on it again. Is it gonna be another
No,
amendment?
it's going to be
though?
reintroduced. It's going to be reintroduced. He ruled that it's a substantive.
well, I don't know if you made any other changes. At the time,
Well,
you made the amendment,
when we were talking about it,
I
the
said
individual that was here-
you have to wait 2 more weeks before you can vote.
right,
Voted,
right,
So
yeah.
we don't have to take it off the table. We just have to reintroduce it.
No, well, the word introduction would be,
Then you
it
can't
would be
vote.
wrong, because then you can't vote on it. I think if you tabled it, but you've already introduced it in the past, and you introduced it as
So we're gonna
amended.
Take it off the table and amend it.
You've taken, didn't you amend it already?
No.
You didn't?
No, we didn't do it.
Have a fresh bill for next time then. Make
Okay.
it cleaner.
Well, then that would be, then do it, as all I'm suggesting, do it 2 weeks before, reintroduce it, just, if you want to take it off the table and quash it or reintroduce it, be the same thing.
Rita.
And then give it 2 weeks from that time. So
Right.
just,
It's cleaner.
so whatever your,
I used the word
whatever your calendar is as to when you want it actually implemented. And remember, we got that 30-day effective date.
Just go out of the date.
So,
It'll expire.
Just so I'm getting right, so are we withdrawing it and we're introducing it under a new bill?
Yes.
Yes,
Clean.
correct. to make it clean
Yes.
That's
with the new
correct.
change. So
Yes.
we're not gonna have to bring it back to the table, because we're gonna withdraw
Okay,
it.
okay, yeah, in other words, it'll forever stay in purgatory, bill purgatory,
Well, the
anything that's
bill,
gonna-
it'll,
However, I gotta go back and check the minutes. I think we said we're tabling it until March 7th.
Yeah, you
no,
moved to
we're tabling it to bring it back on the 22nd.
February.
Okay.
And then it would be the 30 days, so it wouldn't be effective until the end of March anyway. So if we're gonna withdraw that number then,
Then you're gonna introduce
and
it
then
on
I'm gonna
February
give it a new number
22nd.
with the new changes and everything,
Right.
we're starting fresh.
A lot cleaner.
I think,
I think that's easy.
I think it would be cleaner if we brought it off the table and withdrew it.
Okay,
And
yeah,
then
and
introduce
the same night, yeah, that makes, either way, it'll be the same thing.
Right,
Either,
it'd be the same way.
and so it clears it off, it doesn't have to stay in purgatory then.
Okay,
I can't.
thank you.
I give up.
Okay,
That's a new edition of Robert Rules.
well, to keep it clean,
Joel's
I
rules,
just,
it's,
so we're actually gonna withdraw it, and then
No.
you're gonna introduce a new
We're
one.
gonna take it off the table
right.
and
Withdraw-
amend
with-
it.
No, excuse me, it's gonna be taken off the table, it's gonna be withdrawn,
Withdrawn.
and a new ordinance is gonna be introduced, that's clean, and then the next meeting, you'll vote on it, and in 30 days it'll become effective.
But it's already off the table. We did that last week.
You took it off the
We
table?
took it off the table.
Oh, I
No.
know.
Where is
No.
it?
Yes, you tabled, yes, you did.
We tabled it.
Exactly.
Yeah, we
We
put it
didn't
on
take
the
it off
table.
Well,
table.
okay, then you're looking at it different than I am then.
We
We'll
put
do
on
it
the
your way.
table.
We'll bring it back, pull it off, do
Happens
things
in
we don't
meeting
need to do, but okay.
It'll work out.
Okay,
What a dance.
anyone else? Any other topic we can mash?
We'll have three to 5 minutes in
Yeah,
there,
we're
and
gonna
then
go-
everybody goes home.
Okay, I'll move for adjournment.
So, second.
So moved in second, all, roll call rather.
Mr. O'Connell.
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles.
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana.
Aye.
Mayor Panto.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger.
Aye.
Mr. Milan.
Aye.
Thank you.
I will see you.